Ladies and gentlemen, you've just snuck into our conversation over here. You are now watching the Local BizCast, and most of you very much well know, I am Dr. Pete. Thank you so much for joining us. You know what I always start the show with? We are always looking to grow this show, so if you're enjoying it, please go to the Local BizCast on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts. Go ahead and hit those like and subscribe buttons. We can bring more Local BizCast to more people. We're helping people out every single day. And if you want to be on the Local BizCast, all you have to do is contact me. You can get me on social media, on Instagram and TikTok at the Dr. Pete, or even on Facebook for all of us who were born in the 1900s at Peter Wohl. And you can also just email me if you want. I'm drpete at shcnj.com. That's the Spine and Health Center over here. I think my business is over for the morning, so now I get to introduce my wonderful guests. Thank you so much for also stepping in, so I appreciate that.
Thank you for
Sitting
having me.
right next to me is Rob Young. Rob Young owns Stateline Notary. He is a mobile notary. I didn't even know this existed. I didn't even know you could do this.
Neither did I, as of 4 years ago. So,
Is this only 4 years old?
yes. Well, no, actually, the business is 3 years old.
3 years old.
I tell the story frequently that in 2021, my wife and I were taking advantage of the low rates, refinancing our own house, and got to the point where closing was happening. And I said, "What attorney or titles office do I need to go to?" And they said, "No, we're sending somebody to you." So, "What do you mean you're sending somebody to me?" And they said, "No, we got somebody coming to you." Gentleman came with all the documents, sat there, signed it, sat there notarizing it, and I'm like, "What is this? What are you doing right now?" And he tells me it probably took twice as long as it should have because I was just pestering him with questions.
Right.
And
Right.
it started my curiosity because I also do investment real estate. So I said, oh, maybe this could help some of my friends with their investments. I could notarize for them. And went down the YouTube rabbit hole and started looking this. And I said, this would be a great way to kind of supplement my real estate. So got into it. And it was a good probably 2 years before I helped any of my friends with their notarizations. But after that, I've been off and running. So
How about that?
yeah.
That just came out of left field 3-4 years ago. That's incredible. But before that, now you're been doing investment real estate, and that's
Yes. So I have some investments out in Pennsylvania,
Okay.
just rentals. Nothing fancy, but keeps me busy.
Sure.
So.
Building the portfolio.
Yeah.
But the only reason I ask that is because obviously when you're doing investments and stuff, there's the use and the need for notary. So
Oh yeah, no, I've never heard of the real estate transaction that's been, you can't do that without a notary.
Right.
So whether that's the attorney notarizing the documents or a notary like me, your piece of real estate is not going to transact hands unless there's notarizations on it. So.
Right. It's incredible. Notary? I remember when it must have been 25 years ago when I first started, why a notary? What is a notary? How did it all come about, notarizing?
It's an office. It's the notaries are commissioned by the Secretary of State of whatever state you're in. And it's just a way of authenticating and formalizing a document to say, my job is to basically verify their identity and watch them sign.
Got it.
And that's it. And then my signature and my stamp on that document says, I verified this person's identity and I watch them sign.
How about that?
So that way, when they go and whether it's a deed that they're recording at, in their local government, so they can transfer a house or whatever, they look for that. Good, it's there. We know it's good.
Got it. See, in my mind, I'm thinking there's so many shady people out there that So this prevents that.
So deed fraud is a massive problem right now.
Right.
There are people that are seniors particularly are being targeted. They're getting taken advantage of. They'll say, hey, here, sign this piece of paper. It's a deed. That deed goes and gets recorded. You have somebody that all of a sudden shows up and says, hey, you're in my house. And what are you talking about? I've lived here for 45 years.
Yeah.
That
happens.
That's a massive problem right now.
You're saying it's a massive problem. This is not just a one-off. You're saying this is happening a lot.
Yeah.
There are brazen criminals out there that are just going up to our elderly. Oh my God.
Yeah, they're targeting. Doesn't even have to be elderly, but they're targeting
Sure.
people. They're producing false deeds and going and getting them recorded. And particularly with the AI is wonderful for a lot of things, but its ability to mimic humans. That people are doing these, particularly in states where online notarization is a thing, which it's like a notary. Best example is Zoom and DocuSign. You put those two technologies together, you see the document, you see the people. because of their ability to mimic human beings, they're actually people are getting on online sessions with AI characters, and they're like, oh, well, they're elderly, it's taking too long for them to hear you and stuff like that. But it's happened where people have had their homes taken away from them due to that. So,
That is incredible.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously you were doing this as a service, but then you find out a little bit more about how important notarizing is, and this is not just a another grab at cash or something like that. Oh, we got to do one more, like from the guy who has to get the notary. I'm like, oh, you got to make me spend more money on what? Like
I try to. My business is focused around. Primarily, I do real estate, but I also do a lot of estate planning and then just general notary work as well. But my business is focused around keeping it as quick and convenient and stress-free as possible for the signers. Well, yeah. So the whole mobile aspect of it is I'm coming to them. We're meeting at a time and place of their choosing, and we're signing the documents that they need. I'm stamping it, and I'm trying so they can go on with their day and make it quick and
You have got an amazing service. You just have made, you always say, like, you create a company that solves a problem.
Right.
You've made it so quick, so easy. So, I mean, that's incredible. And all right, talk to me a little bit more, because you said estate planning notaries and all that kind of stuff. That's probably pretty unique, I would assume.
Estate planning, so I started to work with a lot of estate planning attorneys. Actually, the reason why I was a New York notary first. I've been notarizing in New York for about 3 years. And then met a estate planning attorney who was New York and New Jersey, and he said, "Hey, I met him at a meet and greet at a local library. It was me, him, and about 4 couples of senior citizens listening to a little talk about writing your will and whatever." And I talked to him, gave him my card, sent him an email once after that. But about 8-9 months later, he reaches back out to me and he says, "I'm thinking about giving up all my signings. I'd like you to take them over." And so I got, and I said, "Well, I'm not a New Jersey notary." And he said, "Okay, well, about 70%. So I went and got my New Jersey notary at that point and formed a partnership with him to get that, and then started doing New Jersey as of the beginning of 2025.
There you go.
Yeah.
Another new avenue on the business over there. So this is, I always like to come into Local BizCast. I really do think that there's like either, budding business owners, young entrepreneurs and stuff like that who kind of don't know what's going on, and I really thought that this would be a platform for us to kind of educate. So
yeah.
What you just said right there is that you planted a seed at an event that has nothing to do with anything you've done, right? I mean, you're talking about writing wills, which seems very illegal and everything like that, at a local library with one attorney, and 8 months later, it turns into business. And not only that, now it's kind of sprouting, and it was the catalyst for you to go get your Jersey notary.
So yeah, because I'm dual commissioned, my business originally was called Empire State Notary Services. And when I became a New Jersey notary, I said that's a little too New York centric. I changed it to Stateline Notary because I live in Rockland County,
right on the
3-4 minutes from the state line, and just wanted to keep it short and simple. But mostly, it's more than doubled my business at this point. Still do a lot in New York, but having Bergen County here is just so easy because I'm right in Rockland. So
yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. So you're going into estate. I mean, most people, as I said, they don't know notary. So how would you explain, why it's necessary? Why? I mean, you have a ton of business here. You said you just doubled your business and stuff like that. What is it that what are the different factors that require notarization and everything like that? So
every piece of real estate that you transact needs multiple notarizations on it. Wills, ironically, don't need to be notarized. However, there is what they call a self-proving affidavit that's attached to it. That is where people actually are witnessing you sign your will. I'm actually, in that case, notarizing the witness's signature, not the signer of the will signature. But
because people contest these wills all the time, right?
So it's critically important to have 2 independent witnesses. And so when I come into, I do a lot of work in hospitals, nursing homes, assisted living facilities. Sometimes with people that have been there for a while and it's expected. Other times you get young people that just wind up there, life happens, and they wound up in an assisted living facility.
Got it.
They might be recovering from an accident or something, and they hadn't even considered estate planning at that point, and now it's a rush. So I'm bringing in the witnesses. The family is very stressed, and I'm there just to deflate the situation a little bit and make it as stress-free as possible for them. I bring in the witnesses with me, and we'll sign the docs right there.
God, what an amazing service. And again, this is all just kind of growing, as you're getting involved in more things.
Yeah.
You're like, wow, I can provide this for a family who's very, pretty much grieving at that point.
And a lot of people, it's kind of a little bit of a commentary on some of our society today, but a lot of people don't know their neighbors anymore, or don't want their neighbors in their business. I don't want you witnessing my,
right.
You might see a number on my real estate transactions, or I don't want you getting a peek at my will. So my ability to bring in 2 independent witnesses who are just there. They're signing witness lines. Nobody's looking over the documents.
Right,
We're not
right.
in your business. We're there to do a job and make it as stress-free as possible for you.
Incredible. It's like my head is kind of spinning. It's this really cool business idea that you kind of developed, and a little bit, obviously, you were like, came from your experience. So.
Right.
All right. Yeah, so let's go back into the business aspect, because I really love the ones that we talk about that. You've grown this business in a matter of only just a few years, and have already kind of set off different avenues, and I'm sure you're continually finding some stuff over there. Young entrepreneurs, what is I know we know each other now because of the LeTip group that you've joined, and the business networking. So give me some pieces of pearls of knowledge and things that people could use. Like, how do you grow a business? Well, how do you go from business development, having the idea, growing the business, going out there and getting customers and making connections and
exactly what you just said, networking. I mean, for me, it's a face-to-face business. So I need to. There is remote online notarization, which I could talk about a little bit more. I touched on it before, but it's for me. It's really being in front of the people. So with that, it's, you go to these networking groups, whether it's a breakfast group or an evening networking thing, and doing that and doing the follow-up, because people are going to want to bring you in if they know, like, and trust you.
Sure.
And especially if you're dealing with stuff as sensitive as, your home or your will.
Right.
I mean, that's pretty personal stuff. So to be able to come in and talk to people and say, hey, this is somebody that I know he's not going to be embarrassing here. He's not going to bring witnesses that are just going to be embarrassing or anything like that. I work with a lot of people, and I have a pool of witnesses in both Rockland and Bergen, and people that I know and I trust.
Sure.
So when they say they're going to be there, they're going to be there. I know they're going to be presentable. They know the drill. They know they're signing. So that's how you grow. I mean, really, it's relationships. Everything's about relationships, and the younger generation, a lot of their relationships come on their screens, on their phones.
Absolutely.
And when you get out in the real world, you have to be able to shake somebody's hand, look them straight in the eye, and say, "This is what I can do for you." Hopefully, there's some reciprocation that you guys can exchange business ideas, exchange networking leads, stuff like that. But it's a people business.
Right. Did you know that from day one? These networking groups and everything like that. I had no idea. Right. I went to chiropractic school down in Atlanta. I get out of chiropractic school. I want to try to build my business. And thank goodness it was a neighbor, ironically, that we were friendly with from growing up. He goes, "You should try one of those networking groups." And BNI, which is, I know, LeTip's competitor over there, was the first thing. I was like, what network? I don't even remember hearing that word back in the early 2000s. And now it is the ultimate buzzword of buzzwords, right?
When I became, I left corporate life in 2016, and I started my own business. And it didn't work out great. I stopped after a year, but I joined a BNI group at the time and was pushing the business, and it was eye-opening, because it's like, you got to craft an elevator pitch, whether it's 30 or 60 seconds. You have to go in there and schedule one-to-ones and really get to know the people. And the people that are like, they quit those groups after 6 months or a year, and it's like, well, how many one-to-ones did you do? How many,
right.
Do you know the names of the kids of the people that you're interacting with? Do you know, a little bit about their personal story and stuff like that? So it's relationships. And it's something that, is kind of lacking these days a lot of times. Relationships through screens, through social media. I see them post on social media. It's I like to text my friends on their birthdays, not just post on Facebook. So.
I to tell you the truth, I make it a point that I don't think I do post on Facebook unless I don't have your cell phone number. And if I don't have your cell phone number, well, I guess we're not that close.
Yeah, right.
So there was one guy I hear, of course, I'm talking about on social media and stuff like that. He goes, don't complain to me on social media. If you have a problem with me, then call me or text me. And if you don't have my number, then you don't have any right to complain about me.
Right.
Like, you don't know me enough to complain about me, so stop
Right.
complaining about me, that
Right,
type
yeah.
of stuff. And I really like that. So, but I mean, as I said, eye-opening. I had no idea that these are the types of things that you would have to do and open up a business. And it's any business. I'm in healthcare, you're in investment real estate, now in notary. I mean, all these, I can only imagine the different types of industries that you have in your group, which is a fantastic group and everything like that. I mean,
So, and it's so critical because like I've targeted my business towards that solopreneur kind of attorney or person. I'm there to solve a problem, as you were saying before. So when somebody needs something done, it's like, well, we're all individual business owners. It's like we have to market, we have to network, we have to bill, we have to do the books, and all that kind of stuff. There's so many pulls on our time, and for me to be able to come in and say, you know what, I got this for you. I'll go handle your notarizations. That way you don't have to make a house call. They can only sign, if they can only sign at 7 o'clock at night, I'll be there at 7 o'clock at night. They can only sign at 7 o'clock in the morning. I'll be there at 7 o'clock in the morning. And some people say, oh, well, I'll just go down to the library. I'll go there. And it's like, well, yeah, if you have the time to weave your way into their hours. And there's stored, the UPS store or whatever. I don't want to bash UPS. I love them. But they only notarize during certain hours.
Sure.
So I'm, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., 7 days a week pretty much. So...
You heard it here first. I mean, it doesn't get more accessible than that. And I mean, time is the absolute biggest commodity. It is so much more valuable than money at this point now. And I guess that differs for different people. But business owners and people who are very, very busy, who has the time?
We're not making any more of it. So
no,
you have
that's the one thing we can't make is time.
And that's why I'm here. My pitch to people that want to use my services, I'm here to save you time.
Yeah.
So, if you're an attorney that's trying to streamline your business and focus on growing it and possibly bringing in more people, you don't worry about running out to do that notarization, just at somebody's house or having somebody come in and him occupying an hour of your time where you could be better marketing or doing other things to grow your business.
So obviously attorneys are important for you to network with and everything like that. Who are other people that you wouldn't even think about that would require your services? Again, you have the independent consumer and customers like the people, but typically they're being introduced to you via their professionals, their attorneys and stuff like that. But is there ever a time or people that could be introduced to?
Title people are great, especially in New Jersey. In New York, not so much because New York uses attorneys to close most of their real estate deals. So the title person is sending all their stuff to the attorney and the attorney does the closing. North Jersey is similar like that,
right.
But New Jersey uses title companies, and so title companies will give me direct business.
They don't use title companies in other states?
No, they use them. They just in New York. In New York, they go through the attorneys.
Okay.
So the title company will send all the documents to the attorney, and the attorney will hold the closing. Whereas in a lot of other states, you could just walk in straight into the title office and do your closing, or send somebody like me, and I'll come to your house and sit around your kitchen table, and we'll sign the documents.
Unbelievable. All right. What else besides real estate closings? Estate stuff, wills, as you said, don't even require it, but the secondary, anything else? Witnessing, right?
So the biggest other thing is, there's just affidavits, court documents, some title transfers. New York does not do. You don't need a notarization to transfer a car title, but other states do, like Pennsylvania does. So it's really knowing the laws of the other states too. So I say New York and New Jersey.
Just that line right there made you incredibly more valuable because people don't know they need to find people like you to even give them the knowledge of what is required.
I've had, and there's differences. You'd think New York and New Jersey, they're so, very similar. And I'd say probably 90% of the notarial law is similar. But there's, like New York, the second your ID is expired, I can't use it for a notarization. In New Jersey, your ID can be expired up to 3 years, and I can still use it to notarize your document.
It's unbelievable.
Not your loan document, but a document.
Right.
I found that because the bank won't accept it, but I, as the notary, can accept it.
Another valuable piece of information right there. He can accept it, the world can accept it, but sometimes your bank won't accept it.
Yeah.
And now you know that piece of information.
So it's the knowledge base of knowing the state, knowing the state laws, and having the experience to do that. So a lot of people, I had somebody turn me down because I was asking too many questions a week ago. And I said, "You're kidding? Okay."
Sure.
You walk away. You might be doing something shady if you're. I'm asking basic questions.
Absolutely. And you are probably happy to walk away from that.
Yeah, exactly. Because when somebody calls me up and they say I need this, and I start asking them questions. I need a power of attorney. Okay, well, who's it for? who's giving the power of attorney?
Sure.
Who's receiving the power of attorney? Do you have witnesses? What state are we in? And so were these professionally drawn up documents, or did you download something online?
Right.
We can work with both. So it's just a matter of really finding, because I don't want to get there and waste my time, waste their time if they have incorrect documents.
Right.
So it's all a matter of just making sure I'm asking the right questions so I can serve the customers the best.
Incredible. This is incredible. I had no idea about all the nuances of notary and notarization, and you're continuing to grow and getting more knowledge because every time you go into somewhere and not knowing that the bank doesn't allow this, and you keep on getting that knowledge. Very cool,
and
man.
A lot of time banks don't want to get involved with things that need witnesses, so a lot of estate docs are out. They'll sign, if you're an account holder, but a lot of banks are even cutting back that they they don't have notaries on staff anymore.
Really? I mean, that was the first time I needed to do something. I figured I went to the bank and got it notarized. But
a lot of them are cutting back, so which is giving me more business.
Sure.
But it's a lot of people in this day and age, you can pick up your phone and you can order food, you can order vacation flights, cars.
Anything.
Why shouldn't you be able to order a notary service? So
and there you
give me a call. You can book on
He's the DoorDash of notaries, guys. The Grubhub and Uber Eats of notary. It's incredible. You'll have an app in 2 seconds. They're gonna track your car. You're on your way.
No hat.
No thanks.
No thanks for that.
Yeah, right. Exactly right. You've already made it convenient enough. I can imagine. Exactly. That's amazing. So where do people find you? Website, social. What do you?
So website is so the business is Stateline Notary. We service New York and New Jersey. So if you are in Bergen or Passaic, Rockland or Westchester, those are my primary areas that I cover. StatelineNotary.com. At Stateline Notary on Instagram, and if you put Stateline Notary into Facebook, you'll find me there as well.
Awesome. We got to get you onto TikTok now, or what?
Yeah.
That's it. We're going to have a platform for these videos. You're going to get some of these videos, and we're going to get these out over there. But
I'm on TikTok. I don't use it for notary work.
No, you get into the TikTok wormhole, and you start sucking your life away, of course, and like that, which takes us away from building our businesses and wasting time. Although I could say it could be a little bit of research and trying to get some good ideas. And
when I was in that research phase, I said the YouTube rabbit hole, but it was also a lot of TikTok and stuff like that. I was looking for ways to see how people have built this into a business and was it legit. And I can say, 2.5 years in, it's certainly legit.
I was just about to say there has to have been some success there because look at how you're growing and everything like that. So how useful was that? Was that like a key instrument in there, or was that just a little adjunct that helped out?
What the
social media, the YouTube?
So it's for me. I don't use it enough.
Right.
I use it to promote my business. I post a couple times a week on various social media platforms. But in terms of when I was in the research phase, it was invaluable because there's also to highlight another little aspect of my business. So there's notary work, but then there's what I do when I come to if I was going to come to your house and sign your loan documents, that would be what they call a signing agent or a loan signing agent. So every signing agent is a notary. Not every notary is a signing agent.
Got it.
And that is a distinction with a difference because it's familiarity with those loan documents, knowing what boxes need to be checked on them, where they need to be signed and stuff like that. And that just comes from repetition. I've probably done about 500 closings in people's homes, in their offices and stuff like that. And knowing, where to have them sign, what boxes to check and stuff like that. Because a mistake can cause a redraft of that document. Somebody might lose their rate that they have on their house. Somebody might not close on time, and they might be out a whole bunch of money. So it's critical to get those as accurate as possible.
It's the stuff that you don't know. That's all I ever say is that you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
And it's valuable having professionals like you come in and everything like that. What about business contracts and stuff like that? I mean, you don't require notaries. Should people get notaries? Are there things as a notary now you're like, I cannot believe these people don't require a notary for this to make sure that these are...
So as a notary, I am not an attorney, nor am I qualified to offer any sort of legal advice.
Got it.
I'll say that.
All right, guys. The disclaimer is there. We'll put it across the top in post-production.
It's like I said, it's verifying who's signing the document.
Yeah.
If I have looked at your ID, I've looked at your passport, I'm verifying this is who you say you are. And I'm watching you physically sign that document, and then I put my signature and my stamp on it. So if anybody ever asks, if I ever got brought into court, said, did you go back in my journal? Yep.
Yeah.
This is what I signed for.
On this day at this time, my stamp, my signature, I can see that. Yes.
That's what I do. And I have to keep those records, and so that's very important to not. To not.
How's AI going to do that? How do they do that on Zoom? I don't get it.
It's not. I mean, you can do online notarization.
Well, that's what I meant.
But
online,
that's it's not. I do online notarization. I honestly, when it came out in New York, I thought it was going to be an absolute game changer, and I can say 2.5 years in, I don't. I'm almost at the point of not doing it anymore.
It's a small percentage at this point.
It's a very small percentage, and there's technical headaches with people. You frequently will ask them to use a laptop with a working camera and microphone because that is part of the law that I have to see you and I have to hear you.
Got it.
And we see the document in front of us. Both, it's on the screen.
It's like a shared screen.
And you sign the documents. But just the technical glitches, I would not recommend that for elderly people because the barriers with technology. So when it works great. You're on and off in 5 minutes. And when it's not, you could be there 2 hours.
And again, I mean, you made it so easy. I'll come to you at any time you want between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m., 7 days a week. How long is a typical notary, like if you're going to somebody's house to do any type of, I
mean, loans can be anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour and a half, depending on what it is.
Yeah.
If you're selling a piece of property, I'll pick a state like Florida.
Yes.
Very short loan package, 15, 17 pages. I got to notarize maybe about 6 or 8 things.
Got it.
We can be on and out the door in 10, 15 minutes. If you're buying or refinancing, it can be, some of those loan packages can be 200 plus pages.
Wow.
And not that you're signing every page or anything like that, but it's a lot of stuff you have to go
through. But again, that's how helpful it is for you because otherwise I'm looking at all 200 pages and you're like, don't worry about this. You're going to go to page 64, 92, 115, and then we're ready to rock and roll. How valuable that is. Again, time and knowledge. That's all I ever talk about on these type of things. It's just incredible.
It's there to be, like I said, we try to get through it as quickly as possible. Some folks do want to read a little bit, and they'll read a few documents.
Sure.
And, there's
feel more comfortable.
There's nothing they can change in there, and I tell them that. I said, I have a set of documents for you here. You can peruse them at your leisure, but we're here to sign. And if there's an objection with a number on there, yes, we can investigate that. But in terms of the bank's terms and conditions. There's nothing we can
pretty
do
hard
about
to adjust those.
About it.
They're the winners in that game. That's for sure.
But it's some banks. They have very, very brief loan packages, and others you honestly think they're getting paid by the word because 200 pages. It's a huge stack of documents.
Right. So. And you would think it would be pretty standard with that, but it's absolutely not.
Different banks have different policies, and the sizes of the loan packages can vary greatly in page count or whatever. So
amazing. Well, dude, that was awesome. I can't believe how much I just learned about notarizing and how unbelievably unique your business is and how convenient you make it. So I'm hoping everybody out there can understand this, right? My mother's about to go through a closing, so you're my notary if I could find if she needs all that kind of stuff. So it's great. Actually, 2. She's gonna have to. She's selling hers and buying hers. So you move into 2 different jobs usually on a buy and sell, especially if it's local. She's moving from Rockland to Bergen, so both of those are in your catch basin.
Be happy to help.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rob Young from Stateline Notary, aptly named because he's right on the state line. You guys heard it here: Passaic, Bergen, Rockland, Westchester. I'm sure he would travel a little bit to, Hudson. That's got to be closer than Passaic, no? No, not necessarily.
I'll do further. It's just I list those 4 counties, but upon request further.
There we go.
But it's mostly a travel fee that I work
Don't
on, so.
send him to Binghamton. He doesn't want to go out there.
No, I do not want to go out to Binghamton.
Unbelievable. Guys, you know where to find him. You can find him on Facebook. You can find him on Instagram. On the website, you said, everything like that.
Yes.
You heard it here. How convenient it is, how quick it is, and everything like that. So, Rob Young, again, Stateline Notary. Thank you so much, man. Great job over here.
Thank you.
And as always, I am Dr. Pete. This is the Local BizCast. Go ahead and hit like and subscribe. And if anybody wants to get on the Local BizCast, you know where to find me. Thank you so much, everybody. Until next time, we'll see you.